Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning into my channel once again. I know it's been a while since I did a video like this. I've been dealing with quite a number of issues, but now I'm back, and I guarantee you that I'll be doing such videos on week-to-week basis. So today I want to record a video on how are you going to plan for that funeral that has happened in your home, or are you a first-time planner and somebody has died in your home and you need to plan for their funeral and you're stuck somewhere? So I believe this video will be in a position to guide you through. For the last couple of months, I've lost two people who are dear to me, and the first person I lost I was my father, actually, and I was in a position whereby I'm the man of the house, and they're telling me, we need this, what are you going to do? I've never planned a funeral for that case, and it really took a toll on me. But I figured things out, and I came up with rather way of how I'll be able to split my expenses. And when I lost the second person within the family, it was easier for me to just go back to my budget, look at it, and I believe. When I was planning for the second funeral, it was much more easier because it's something which I had already done initially. But this video is just to educate anyone out there who's in that grieving moment, trying to figure out what they need to do, how they need to do it, what are the expenses that are attached to these specific things. And I believe this video will be in a position to help somebody out there on one or two issues. So let's first begin. You've just received the information that somebody has died in your family, and now you see, now the problem with somebody dying in your family is that you're not given time to grieve. You have to grieve, but at the same time plan, because at the end of it all, when somebody dies, the end game is to get them buried. So you are in the middle of trying to figure out, trying to understand, trying to make peace with yourself about losing a loved one. Then you have also to plan all these things. So the first thing you're supposed to consider is the funeral home charges. So if this person died in the hospital, basically there will be those charges that you must clear for them to be now transferred to the funeral home. If they died from home, then it's just a simple thing. You have to transfer them to the funeral home. Now, what happens in the funeral home? There are those standing charges. That is the admission charge, which you must pay. We also have the processes like embalming, which you also must pay. So those charges are fixed. But then you have to decide on the number of days when that body will be in the funeral. Now, the good thing about funerals, they don't dictate. The moment you bring a body, they tell you go, then you'll give us the information on when or how long this body will stay with us. So it gives you that time to also plan, because remember, somebody has died, you have to take them to the morgue, so very many things are going on in your mind. So you cannot really take somebody, admit them in the morgue, then you're like, I'll take them after 10 or 7 days. No, that cannot happen. So what needs to happen is you will first take them to the morgue. They'll give you the standing charges. They'll also tell you how much they charge per day, because most morgues charge per day, and the charges range from 700 shillings. They also go to, I think, 1500 shillings, 1200 shillings, 1300 shillings, or even 1000. So it is also based on the morgue that you take your loved one to. And the standing charges usually ranges from around, I think, 7,000 shillings to 30,000 shillings. So they'll tell you. So the standing charges are, let's say, let me round it off to 10,000 shillings. Then per day is 1,000 shillings. So you'll do your calculations based on how many days your loved one will be there. So when you take your loved one to that specific funeral home, it is also good for you to talk to that mortuary attendant and just confirm, okay, so what are the charges for the casket? The casket range from, let's say, 12k to 100,000. So it also depends with how much you are looking for, because I remember for our end, I think we purchased in the funeral that I was in, they purchased a casket for 25,000, and it looked really good. So basically, you look at also what you can work around with. But when you take that body to the morgue, just have a conversation with the attendant, confirm how much the charges will be for the casket. You can even confirm the hearse packages. Now, the hearse packages, they're different. So you can either take the normal hearse that looks like a Nissan, if that looks like how will I put it? Normally in Kenyans, we usually call them Nissan. I don't know how you call them on your place, but I think they're usually just the normal hearse. Then we have the limousine hearse. We have the Prado hearse where you take a SUV and it also has a chariot at the back. So this comes under different prices. So if you just need the normal hearse, I think that is way cheaper because they don't really come with anything special apart from the normal hearth with the lowering gear, which might be automatic or manual. And the manual gear, I think, goes for 3,500, but these prices vary. The automatic lowering gear goes for around 6,500. Then when you come to, let's say, the Prado, whereby you take the SUV and the chariot, the prices also shift. They can tell you, okay, for that one, the package is 35,000 based on how long the distance is from the funeral home to your home. So when you pay the 35,000, they'll tell you, okay, the Prado will come branded with flowers, and they'll even go to an extent and ask you, okay, what colors do you want us to use, or what colors was the deceased like? Did they like blue? So that's exactly what we'll brand our Prado with. Then after that, they will also tell you we'll bring also a golden table where we'll be able to put the casket on top of it. Then we'll also come with a red carpet for the graveyard, so that and also we'll give you an automatic gear. It might be included in the package, or you'll have to pay for that separately. So once you confirm the house prices, the next thing you need to confirm are the flowers. The flowers, actually, they're usually quite pricey, and it also depends on the design that you want, in the range between 22,500 to around 15,000. So based on the mode that you want. If you want them to write, let's say, dad, it will come with a different price tag. If you want them to write love, it will also come with a different price tag. So it is good for you to confirm this price immediately. You just take the body, and these prices will help you even when you're going to do your budget in the preceding days before the burial date. Then another thing you're supposed to confirm is the dress of the deceased. So some of you will prefer, okay, let's say my loved one had a very good cloth at home, which you can simply carry it and take it to the morgue on that day where they can put it on. But for some people, they'll prefer to buy a whole new dress. So if you need a suit, the prices also vary. If you need a dress, let's say for your loved one who's of the female gender, you'll also be in a position to choose, because also the dresses vary in prices as the suits do. So you'll also be in a position to confirm. Now, why is it important for you to confirm these prices when you're taking the body? Because it will advise you on what amount you need when you're going to remove the body from the morgue. Okay? So first of all, I've said on the funeral charges, you confirm what are the standing charges, what are the daily charges, then what is the casket charges, what is the house price based on whatever you prefer, what are the flowers looking like, and also the automatic gear, how much does it cost. And lastly, you can look at the dress of the deceased, whether it's a female or a male, and you choose based on the prices that you're comfortable with as a family. Then immediately somebody dies and the news go out, your home will be a visitor's place. So basically, even if you have a big gate, you'll have to be opening that gate every day, because people will be streaming in to condole with the family. And these are charges that will be accruing on a day-to-day basis. So you need to decide as a family, what is the best meal for us to cook for these visitors who come in on a day-to-day basis. That will also be dictated with the budget that you have. There are some people who prefer just snacks and tea. There are some people who prefer a normal meal like rice and bean, that is specifically in Kenya. There are some people who go all out and they hire a catering team that will deal with all those feeding expenses. So this will also be dictated with the family, but this is an expense that you must not overlook. You must also consider things like water. Is water available in that place? That is something which you need. You must also consider things like firewood, etc. You must even look at things like a tent, because not every visitor will fit in the house. So you need to put a tent, let's say, at the compound, where other visitors will be able to just come, sit, maybe take some tea and snacks, and just condole with the family, pass their messages of condolences to you. Then we also, now those are on the daily expenses. Immediately somebody dies and the news go out, from tomorrow, you will encounter these daily expenses that you must be in a position to meet them. Then the third thing you need to consider is now the catering team. The catering team will come in handy if in a scenario, because I'm speaking from a point of view of the experience I had. So there's some communities in Kenya who do not really bring the body to their homesteads to sleep on the eve of the burial date. So they just bring the body on the burial date. So this is not really cast on stone, but it is based on how you will be able to use this team. So for the catering team, you can bring them on the eve of the burial date. And why this is so is because on the eve of the burial date, there are very many visitors who come in and stream in the homestead. So the catering team can be charged. You can request charges off if you come on the eve of the burial date and you cook lunch for the visitors and supper for those who will be sleeping in. Then on the burial date, you make sure you cook breakfast, you cook lunch, and also you cook supper. How much will that cost? So the catering team will definitely give you packages based on your demand. My advice is, instead of using the catering team from day one when somebody has died, bring them on the eve of the burial date and only dictate that on the eve, lunch and supper, on the burial date, breakfast, lunch, and supper. Then the catering team will also be in a position to bring you tents, the visitors tents, because remember, some burials are not really done in the church. Most of these burials attracts too many visitors, so people prefer holding them in the field, in gardens, etc. So you might also be required to ask the catering team to give you a package of, let's say, visitors tent. And on the visitors tent, it will be based on how many people you expect. Do you expect 200 people? That is what will now dictate how much they will charge you on that. Then on the tent, they will also be in a position to decorate it based on the theme colors of the funeral. So that is also something which you really need to dictate. Now, just to go back on the funeral side, when you're requesting the hearse, some of the hearses come with packages of the body tent, because the body must also be put in its own tent where people can walk in and just view the body. So you need to inquire whether that is covered under that package. But if it is not, when you're meeting or conversing with the catering team, kindly inform them that you also need in fact, they will even ask you, they will tell you, okay, you need us to give you 10, so how many visitors will come? And even they will arrange you, because they will say, okay, on this specific arrangement that we have done, so the family will be here, let's say the relatives will be here and the friends will sit here, and even the people from the church will sit here in the choir. So they are in a position to arrange even the seating arrangements for you, and they will inquire, do you have a body tent, or should we also put that in our package? If you don't have, they will be in a position to also give you a body tent where the body will be able to sit as you wait for the funeral. So that is also something which you need to convert. Now, something which I know will really be if I don't talk about this, many African communities will be like, okay, why did you not talk about this? I don't know whether this is done across the borders. If so, kindly be sure to include it on the chat box. So you also need to consider, when you're talking about catering, you also need to consider the expense of buying a cow, because I've had in a scenario whereby, if let's say if the father of the house was passed away, then you need to buy a male cow, a bull. But if it's let's say the lady of the house was passed away, then you need to buy, let's say, um a female cow which has given birth or something. So these are things which are dictated by the cultures of the community. So you need to confirm this as you're also planning for the catering team. Now, another thing which you must confirm is the grave expenses. And the grave expenses is basically the casual laborers will be the diggers, and also this will be dictated with the design that you want. Because for some people, they're usually like, just dig, let's put the body, and that's it. But for other people, they're like, let's dig in, let's decorate it, let's cement it, let's put some tiles. So this will also be dictated with exactly the exact design that you need. I even saw in Mexico, or I don't know it was in which country, whereby they had dug this big grave and they had put all sorts of things. It looked like an underground basement house, and even the deceased was not in a coffin, but they had put him on the bed. They had put a shelf there where we had all these shoes for the deceased. And you see, these are things which are done with different cultures. What we say, because of diversification, we have also to respect other cultures when it comes to how they treat the entire burial ceremony for them. So based on what you want to do as a family, that is what will dictate the grave expenses that you must incur. Then the other thing that you need to confirm is the videography service. Do you need to document the ceremony? So that service will be dictated with photographs. You need to approach, let's say, a videographer who will now advise on the services of, let's say, photography. How much will it cost? Do you need to record a video? Do you need an album for that specific event? If so, they got you. You just have to say exactly what you need, then they'll be able to prepare it. For some people, they're usually like, don't record videos in my funeral. I don't want that to be done like that. Just take pictures. That's okay. We only need albums. That's okay. We need you to give a soft copy of the pictures. That's okay. All these demands, apologies for that. So all these demands must be translated to the videographer, or so that they know how best they can charge you on that. And now the other thing that you must work on immediately somebody has died and everybody now has come to terms with the eulogy. You need to sit down as a family, then come up with a eulogy. Then you need to approach a branding company who will be in a position to print that eulogy for you based on your designs. There are some people who just need a simple eulogy. There are some who need how will I put it? They need something like a booklet for their eulogy with hard covers, and it needs also to be big like an A4. So you need to decide on, first write the eulogy down, collect all the past pictures for the deceased, then decide on the design as a family, because the design will also dictate the price. Then that is when now you approach a branding company to do that for you. Then you should also consider the cost of a pull-up banner. I think they usually go for around 3,000 if I'm not wrong. So the pull-up banner is usually has a base. Then you pull it up and it has all the details of the deceased with a very big picture, and also the information, the sunset and the sunrise information. That is also something which you need to consider. But if you don't need a pull-up banner, then you can just go with the branding of the eulogy, and that's it. Now, what have I said? Just to sum it up, first of all is the funeral home charges, number one, which you need to consider. Number two, you must consider the daily expenses. That is from when the family member or the loved one has passed away. Then you need to consider the catering team and how you'll involve them within your family. Then you need to consider the grave expenses, the videography services that comes with the pictures and the videos, whatever you need, the eulogy. And lastly, if you want your loved ones to be in a position not to feel that the funeral has strained them financially, because you see, some people die after being in hospital, too much bills have been accrued. Then there is that expense that they also need to meet when it comes to funeral arrangements. First, invest in your social capital. And by social capital, I mean, and I'll create a different video just to talk about social capital and why it is important. I mean, if somebody in your family died today, and let's say you ask contributions from your friends and your family and relatives, how much are you able to save? How much are you able to collect from them? That's your social capital, and I'll talk about it later. Then you also need to consider taking a life policy insurance. Personally, I've taken mine. I've taken a life policy, a life insurance policy for my wife, and everyone in my family. I've talked to them, and they've taken a life policy because we learned from what we experienced, and it was. I can't say we were stuck. We saw ourselves through, but a life policy usually cushions the family in case of a unprecedented events like this. Okay, so that is all from my end. If you have any more questions in regards to this video, feel free to share it at the bottom of the chat box. I want to say thank you so much, and from today I'm back, and expect more videos on a week to week basis. Thank you.